Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the glittering heart of Seoul, where the neon lights of Gangnam don't just shine, they scream absolute power, exclusivity, and unimaginable opulence. We are diving deep into a world most can only dream of. A prohibited playground where a single night out costs more than what most people earn in a year. Tonight, we aren't just talking about K-pop idols. We're talking about global royalty. The economic movers of South Korea, the seven kings of BTS. They rose from the dusty streets of Nanae, sharing a single cramped room, to wielding the kind of black card power that opens every VVIP door in the world. But have you ever wondered, when the stadium lights go dark and the screaming crowds fade, how do these young billionaires actually unwind? Rumors are swirling about secret underground lounges. Bottles of vintage wine priced like diamonds, and receipt bills that would make a Wall Street banker sweat. Who is the member with the heaviest hand? Who treats the squad to a $50,000 bill without even blinking? Is it the sophisticated intellectual seeking rare privacy, or the spontaneous energy of the group turning a quiet lounge into a private festival? Tonight, we peel back the velvet curtain. We analyze the lifestyle, the rumors, the psychological need for escape, and the reality of their astronomical wealth. Who is the secret big spender hiding in plain sight? And why will number one absolutely blow your mind? Fasten your seatbelts and prepare for a journey into the 1%. Because this is the ranking of the top 7 BTS members who spend $50,000 in one night at Gangnam lounges. Number 7. Kim Namjoon, the curator of silence. A different kind of luxury. Ladies and gentlemen, we kick off this countdown with the leader, the philosophical anchor, and the man who arguably holds the weight of the entire K-pop industry on his broad shoulders, Kim Nam. You might be scratching your head, wondering why the man who spends his weekends cycling by the Han River and posting photos of wildflowers and museum tickets is even on a list about dropping 50 grand in a Gangnam lounge. But that is exactly why he is here at number 7, because when RM spends, he doesn't spend for the noise, he spends for the silence. And let me tell you, in the heart of Seoul's hyper-competitive nightlife, silence is the most expensive commodity of all. We are talking about a different breed of wealth here. This isn't the flashy, look at my gold chain energy. This is what the financial elites call quiet luxury, and Namjoon is the uncrowned king of it. Picture the scene. It's 2 a.m. in the posh neighbor of Gangnam, down a nondescript alleyway that houses a members-only jazz lounge, where the entrance fee alone costs more than a decent used car. RM doesn't walk in with a frantic entourage or strobe lights flashing. He walks in wearing full Bottega Veneta or vintage Vivi, an outfit that looks simple to the untrained eye but costs upwards of $15,000. Radiating an aura of calm authority that instantly shifts the atmosphere of the room. Why would he drop $50,000 in a night? It's not on a train of Dom Perignon bottles with sparklers to impress Instagram models. No, for RM, the bill racks up because he buys exclusivity. To sit in a lounge and not be stared at. To drink a glass of Hibiki 30-year-old whiskey or a rare vintage wine from the 1980s without a smartphone camera pointed at his face, he often has to rent out the entire VIP floor or the whole venue. Let's break down the edutainment aspect of this. In the high-stakes economy of Seoul's nightlife, a booking buying a table is standard. But a buyout closing the space is reserved for the ultra-rich. When RM wants to discuss the next creative direction of the group or simply decompress after a grueling world tour with a few close artist friends or curators, he pays for the empty seats. He is paying for the absence of people. That is a power move. We have to remember his background. This is the boy who started in the underground rap scene of squeezing into cramped studios, now holding a black card that can clear a room with a swipe. There is a profound emotional reflection here. The louder the screams in the stadium, the quieter the lounge needs to be. Reports and urban legends in the Gangnam service industry suggest that RM is the golden guest, the one who tips the staff incredibly well. Sometimes paying the tuition fees of part-timers or leaving tips that match the bill, simply thanking them for their discretion. He treats the bartenders like sommeliers and the servers like human beings. Engaging in conversations about the origin of the wine or the history of the jazz track playing in the background, his spending is intellectual. If the bill hits $50,000, it's likely because he spotted a piece of art on the wall of the lounge he liked and decided to buy it on the spot. Or he ordered a bottle of Romano Conti just to taste the history within it. He is not partying. He is curating an experience. It's a fascinating paradox. The leader of the world's biggest boy band uses his massive wealth to create a bubble of normalcy. While others might spend to be seen, RM spends a fortune to be invisible, to reclaim a few hours of being just Namjoon. Amidst the chaos of being RM, this level of spending is mature. It is heavy, and it is deeply respectful of the craft of luxury. He sets the bar for a list, not because he is reckless, but because he shows us that the ultimate flex is peace of mind, no matter the price tag. But make no mistake, just because he is reading a book in the corner doesn't mean the credit card bill isn't burning hot. Quality costs, and the captain pays the price without blinking. This makes him the perfect number Savona grounding force before we spiral into the wilder spenders on this list. Number 6. Kim Seojin, the generous Mathyung, a feast for the senses, the ultimate provider. Boom! We are moving up the ladder to number 6, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts from the quiet, museum-like intensity of our leader to the boisterous, radiant, and blindingly expensive aura of the man who calls himself worldwide handsome. Kim Se. If RM spends money to buy silence, Jin spends money to buy happiness. Specifically, the happiness of everyone around him. And let me tell you, happiness in Gangnam comes with a price tag that would make your jaw drop to the floor. We are talking about the eldest member, the Mathyong, and in Korean culture, that title carries a heavy weight, the weight of the wallet. There is an unwritten rule in the hierarchy of age. The oldest pays. But when the oldest is a multimillionaire global superstar who loves good food and even better company, paying the bill turns into a legendary event. Jin isn't going to a lounge just to sip a drink. He is there to host a banquet, a royal feast. That transforms a dimly lit VIP room into a celebration of life itself. Imagine the scene. It is a Friday night at a high-end gastro lounge near the kind of place where the chefs are Michelin-starred and the water costs $20 a bottle. Jin walks in, and the energy changes instantly. He's loud. He's cracking dad jokes. His ears are turning red. But make no mistake, his credit card is absolute cold steel. Why does he hit the $50,000 mark? Because Jin never eats alone, and he never lets anyone else pay. He is the type of spender who orders the entire right side of the menu. I'll take this. Actually, just give us everything. We are looking at platters of a 5 Hanwoo beef seared to perfection. Towers of fresh urchin uni flown in from Hokkaido that morning. And bottles of Chateau Margaux that cost more than a semester of college tuition, all being passed around the table to staff, friends, or the younger members. This is edutainment at its finest. We have to analyze the psychology of the provider. Jin comes from a business background. He understands hospitality. He even co-owns a restaurant. He knows the value of quality ingredients and the effort behind service. When he spends $50,000, a huge chunk of that is on the absolute highest tier of culinary luxury paired with rare spirits. He is a connoisseur of alcohol, making his own traditional McJolly. But in a lounge setting, he upgrades to the heavy hitters Louis XIII cognac or limited edition whiskey. But here's the emotional kicker that makes this ranking so touching. Jin uses his wealth as a shield by taking care of the bill, by making it a joke. Ja, I'm rich. Let me pay. He relieves the burden from everyone else. He creates a safe space where the younger members of the Matinee line don't have to worry about the cost. They can just be kids again. It's a profound reflection on his role in BTS. He protects their childhood and their wallets simultaneously. There are stories circulating in the elite circles of Seoul's nightlife managers about the Jin effect. They say he is the most polite VVIP you will ever meet. bowing to the waiters even as he hands over a card that could buy the building. He tips heavily, not out of arrogance, but out of genuine appreciation for the hard work of others, perhaps remembering his own days of struggle before the fame hit. But let's not get it twisted. The man loves luxury. He loves the shiny, the beautiful, the best. If there is a golden tomahawk steak on the menu, Jin is ordering 3. If there is a champagne tower that lights up, he's getting it just to hear his friends laugh. That $50,000 receipt is a receipt of love, affection, and his chaotic, beautiful way of saying, I've got you. He turns the cold, transactional nature of a Gangnam lounge into a warm family dinner, just with significantly more zeros on the check. It's a flex that feels like a hug. He proves that money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a phenomenal night out that memories are made of. And for Jin, that is worth every single penny. He is the billionaire next door, the king of my treat. And that is why he secures the number 6 spot with a smile that outshines the chandelier above him. Number 5. Min Yoongi, The Producer's Playground, a symphony of rare spirits, the silent mogul. We are crossing the threshold into the top 5, and the air is getting thicker, heavier, and significantly more expensive. If the previous entries were about peace or food, number 5 is about taste refined, sharp, and uncompromisingly. We are talking about the genius producer, the hand of Midas, the man who spits fire as Augusti and produces ballads that make the world cry as Suga Min Yoongi. Ladies and gentlemen, do not let a sleepy, cat-like demeanor fool you for a single second. This man is a walking economy, a silent tycoon who treats a night out in Gangnam not as a party, but as a serious investment in the soul. When Suga drops $50,000 in a single night, it is rarely on flashing lights or confetti. It is almost exclusively on liquid gold. We are entering the world of ultra-premium whiskey, a domain where Min Yoongi reigns supreme. Imagine the setting, deeper into the labyrinth of Gangnam's nightlife. Hidden behind a bookshelf in a speakeasy that requires a fingerprint scan to enter, this isn't a place for dancing. It's a place for serious men to discuss serious business. The lighting is amber. The furniture is Italian leather that smells of old money. And the sound system is a hi-fi setup worth more than a house. Suga walks in, often wearing a black bucket hat and a masterfully tailored Fear of God suit, looking like the boss of a shadowy syndicate. Why does the bill skyrocket to $50,000? Because in South Korea, the luxury tax on imported spirits is astronomical, and Suga doesn't drink the bottom shelf. He isn't ordering the standard bottle. He is requesting the dusty bottle on the very top shelf that the bartender is afraid to touch. We are talking about 30-year-old single malts. Rare editions of Hibiki or a Macallan Lalique that costs as much as a luxury sedan. This is Edutainment 1-1, understanding the whiskey economy. For a connoisseur like Yoongi, the value isn't just in the alcohol. It's in the history, the craftsmanship, the years, the spirits spent in the barrel of parallel to his own long, agonizing journey in the music industry. Every sip is a tribute to endurance, but the spending doesn't stop at his own glass. Oh no! This is where the Min Yoongi duality breaks your heart. He is famous for his sunder nature acting cold but being incredibly warm when he is at these lounges. He is often surrounded by his producing team, junior songwriters, or old friends from the underground hip-hop days in Daegu. These are the people who starved with him, who shared that tiny 301 noodle cup. Now, he sits at the head of the table and quietly orders the best for them. He doesn't make a speech about it. He just nods at the server and says, "Give them what I'm having." That simple sentence can add $20,000 to the tab in seconds. It's a power move of the highest order. There is a deep, resonant emotion here. Remember, this is the boy who worked as a delivery driver, who shattered his shoulder in a motorcycle accident and kept it a secret because he was terrified of losing his debut chance. He knows the value of $1 better than anyone. So, when he spends this much, it is a defiance of his past. It is him looking at his trauma and burying it under a mountain of success. Witnesses from the service industry describe his table as intense but respectful. There is no shouting, just deep conversations about chords, beats, and the future of music. He treats the lounge like an extension of his studio, the Genius Lab. Sometimes the $50,000 bill includes renting the space to play a demo track on that $1 million sound system. Just to hear how the bass hits in a club setting. He pays for the acoustic environment. And let's not forget the gratuity. Suga is known to be a silent tipper. He doesn't hand the cash over with a flourish. He leaves it tucked under a coaster. A substantial stack that the waiter only finds after he has already vanished into the night like a ghost. He is the definition of young and rich, tall and handsome, but with a layer of sophisticated darkness that makes him irresistible. He spends like a man who has conquered his demons and now drinks their memory in a crystal glass. The $50,000 night for Suga isn't about excess. It's about celebration of survival. It is a quiet roar of victory. He sits there, swirling his amber liquid, the king of Daegu now ruling Gangnam, proving that the most dangerous spender is the one who knows exactly what he wants and has the black card to get it without saying a word. This cool, calculated, and incredibly expensive taste cements him firmly at number 5, leaving us wondering, if the quiet ones spend like this, what on earth are the loud ones doing? Number 4. J-Hope, The Sunshine's Midnight Gala, a masterclass in high-end hype. We have reached the halfway mark, and if you thought the previous members knew how to spend, prepare yourself for a seismic shift in energy, because we are entering the domain of the The dance captain, the man who turns a simple night out into a global headline event. J-Hope. Ladies and gentlemen, do not be fooled by the bright smile and the I'm your hope introduction. Beneath that sunny exterior lies a man of impeccable, razor-sharp taste and a wallet that strikes with the precision of a viper. Jung Ho-seok is the embodiment of street luxury. And when he decides to drop $50,000 in a Gangnam lounge, it isn't just a billet, it's a performance art piece. We are moving away from the quiet corners and into the VVIP rooftop lounges where fashion, music, and astronomical wealth collide. Picture the scene! It's the kind of night where the humidity hangs low over Seoul, and the only relief is the ACO of a penthouse club in Sin. J-Hope arrives, and the paparazzi don't even need to flash their cameras because he is already glowing. He steps out of a blacked-out van wearing an outfit straight off the runway of Paris Fashion Week, perhaps. A vintage Chanel jacket paired with futuristic Louis Vuitton sneakers-on ensemble alone worth $20,000 before he even orders a drink? Why does he hit number 4? Because J-Hope is the host of hosts. He doesn't just attend a party. He curates the vibe. Remember his legendary Jack-in-the-Box listening party? That was a glimpse into his networking power. In a private lounge setting, this translates to ordering champagne trains. We are talking about parades of Armand de Brignac, Ace of Spades gold, carried by staff with sparklers, lighting up the night like a private fireworks display. A single bottle can run up to $1,000 in these venues, and Hobie doesn't order one. He orders 10, 20, enough to ensure every single person in his vicinity has a glass in hand. This is the edutainment breakdown of the hype economy. J-Hope understands that his energy is the product. By funding the party, he controls the energy. He is often seen with a large entourage. But not hangers-on, we are talking about his dance crew, his music team, the people who sweat with him in the studio for 18 hours a day. His spending is a form of deep, visceral gratitude. There is a beautiful, emotional narrative here, connecting back to his Gwangju roots as a street dancer. He remembers the days of dancing on the pavement for free, sharing cheap snacks with his crew. Now that he sits on the throne of K-pop, he uses that black card to treat his dancers like royalty. He wants them to taste the success they helped build. Witnesses say that even when the bill hits that eye-watering $50,000 mark, J-Hope is the most attentive person in the room. He's pouring drinks for others, checking if the music volume is right, dancing on the sofas to hype everyone up. He isn't drunk on alcohol! He is drunk on the atmosphere he purchased. But let's talk about the details of his spending. J-Hope has a taste for the artistic and the avant. He might rent out a lounge simply because he likes the interior design or the specific pop art hanging on the wall. He appreciates the aesthetics of luxury. He treats the night out like a music video shoot where he is the director. And let's not forget the Hobie tip. Rumor has it that his gratuity creates legends among the waits. He brings that sunny disposition into the transaction, leaving tips that could cover the server's rent for months, all while bowing and saying thank you for your hard work with a blinding smile. It is a terrifying level of wealth wrapped in the kindest package imaginable. He makes spending $50,000 look like an act of charity and joy. He proves that money, in the right hands, can be an instrument of rhythm, bringing people together in a crescendo of luxury and laughter. He is the bridge between the underground grit and the penthouse glitz. And for that eclectic, high-energy extravagance, J-Hope dances his way comfortably into the number 4 spot. Number 3. V. Kim Tae-young, the social butterfly of the century, a jazz-fueled masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the bronze medal position, the top 3. And the air is no longer just expensive. It is thick with the scent of vintage cologne, old money, and an artistic charisma that is simply If RM spends for silence, and J-Hope spends for energy, our number 3 spends for romance and connection. We are entering the mesmerizing, unpredictable, and devastatingly expensive world of the visual king. The man who looks like he stepped out of an anime but spends like a European aristocrat from the 19... Kimute Hanbui! Do not let the boxy smile fool you. V is the ultimate socialite of K-pop, and his nights out in Gangnam are not just parties. They are cinematic productions worthy of an Oscar. When Tae-young drops $50,000 in a single night, he is crafting a memory, a vibe, a mood that money usually cannot buy unless you have a black card with no limit. Picture the scene. We are deep in the heart of Cheongdong, at a lounge so exclusive it doesn't even have a sign on the door, just a heavy oak entrance guarded by men in earpieces. V doesn't walk in. He glides in, likely draped in a full Celine ensemble or a bespoke 3-piece suit that screams Prince of Day, carrying a saxophone case or a vintage camera. Why does the bill hit the stratosphere? Because 5 is the connector of worlds. He is rarely alone, and he is rarely with just idols. This is the domain of the famous Wooga squad. Top-tier actors like Park Seo-joon Cho-yu, Shik-kin Park, Hyung. When this visual god squad assembles, V often takes the role of the generous host. The maknae youngest, who wants to spoil his hero. We are talking about ordering bottles of Chateau Margaux, 1982, or Screaming Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon. Wines that cost as much as a small car, not to get drunk, but to savor the taste while listening to jazz. This is the core of the V experience. He transforms a modern Gangnam lounge into a 1950s jazz bar. The idiotainment angle here is fascinating. V is single-handedly reviving the classic gentleman economy among the youth. If the lounge doesn't have a live band, he might pay the venue an exorbitant fee to hire a jazz quartet on the spot for a private performance. That $50,000 bill includes the performance fees, the vintage wines, and often an impromptu art purchase. Yes, you heard that right. Many of these high-end lounges in Seoul double as art galleries for the elite. Tae-young, with his keen eye for painting and photography, has been known to look at a piece of art hanging above the VIP booth, decide he loves its energy, and buy it right then and there. The receipt isn't just for drinks. It's for culture. But let's dive deeper into the emotional landscape of this spending. V is a man who feels things deeply. He is a romantic soul in a cynical industry. His spending is a language of affection. There are heartwarming stories whispered by the staff of these venues about V's interactions. They say he is the celebrity who looks the waiters in the eye, asks for their names, and treats them like old friends. If he sees the staff looking tired, he has been rumored to order high-end food platters of fruit, steak, and pasta specifically for the employees in the back room, adding thousands to his bill without a second thought. He wants everyone to be happy in his presence. This is the boy who grew up thinking he would be a farmer, now wearing loafers worth more than a tractor. Yet his heart remains incredibly grounded. He uses his wealth to build bridges. When he is with his friends, he isn't the global superstar BTS. He is just Taeyoung, the guy who loves strawberries and good music. The $50,000 is the price of admission for a few hours of normalcy. A barrier that keeps the chaotic world at bay so he can laugh freely with his brothers. We also have to talk about his impulse generosity. If a friend mentions they like a specific watch or a specific accessory V is wearing, or something on the menu, V is the type to order one for everyone at the table. You like it? Let's all have one. It's a whimsical, almost childish generosity backed by the bank account of a mogul. He creates a great Gatsby. Ora. Mysterious. Beautiful hosts, throwing the most lavish gatherings, fueled by a desire for genuine connection. The atmosphere around his table is described as warm, artistic, and incredibly loud with laughter. He isn't throwing money to show off. He is throwing money to create a winter bear-like warmth in the cold. Neon Knight of Soul. He proves that true luxury isn't about the label. It's about the feeling. It's about sitting in a velvet chair, surrounded by the people you love, listening to Chet Baker, sipping a $5,000 glass of wine, and feeling like the main character of a beautiful movie. For his ability to turn a lounge visit into a cultural event, and for his unmatched generosity towards his inner circle. Kim Taeyoung elegantly claims the number 3 spot, leaving us breathless for what the top 2 could possibly bring to the table. Number 2. Jimin Park, Jimin, the Prince of Gangnam, a glissando of glamour, the angel with the infinite tab. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the precipice of the summit. We have reached the silver medalist. The man who defines modern luxury with a terrifyingly beautiful, If the other members are kings, this man is the prince who captures the hearts of the court. We are stepping into the aura of the IT boy of the century. The man whose mere presence causes stock prices to fluctuate and luxury brands to sell out in seconds. Park Jimin. When we talk about spending $50,000 in a single night, we are not just talking about a transaction. For Jimin, we are talking about a performance of affection. In the neon-soaked jungle of Gangnam, Jimin is known as the fairy of generosity, but let me tell you, this fairy dust is made of crushed diamonds and platinum credit cards. Picture the scene. It is 3 a.m. at the most exclusive, high-security lounge in Cheongdam-dong, a place so private that the waiters sign non-disclosure agreements before their shift starts. The door opens, and in walks Jimin. He isn't wearing a suit. He is effortlessly draped in a vintage Chanel cardigan, chrome hearts accessories that weigh as much as gold bars, and a Patek Philippe watch that costs more than the entire lounge's sound system. The air shifts. It becomes seductive, softer, yet infinitely more expensive. Why does the bill hit that staggering $50,000 mark? Because Jimin hates to be alone, and he hates to see empty glasses. He is the ultimate social glue of the group. When he goes out, he brings the Jimin effect, a gravitational pull that draws in his close circle of dancer friends, producers, and the other members. He doesn't just buy a drink. He buys the mood. We are talking about the endless flow of Domopi. Linyon Luminas, the bottles glowing in the dark, marching to his table like soldiers of luxury. But here's the edutainment twist that makes Jimin's spending so fascinating. It is rooted in his perfectionist nature. Just as he practices a dance move 10,000 times until it is flawless, he curates his nights out to be perfect experiences for his guests. If the fruit platter looks slightly off, he orders the premium muskmelon from Japan that costs $300 a slice. If the music isn't right, he might tip the DJ $5,000 just to play a specific playlist of smooth R&B. That sets the vibe. He orchestrates the night. The $50,000 isn't a bill. It's the production budget for a memory. There is a deeply emotional layer to this extravagance that will tug at your heartstrings. We have to remember the Busan boy who left everything behind to train in Seoul. The boy who slept in the practice room and starved himself to fit the idol image. He sacrificed his youth, his school days, and his normalcy for the stage. Now, sitting on top of the world, this spending is his way of reclaiming that lost, youthful joy. He treats his friends not as an idol, treating fans, but as a normal 20-something guy just trying to have fun, except the scale is astronomical. Reports from the elite service industry in Seoul paint a picture of Jimin as the angel guest. They say he is soft-spoken, incredibly polite, often bowing 90 degrees to the staff who bring the bills. But when the check comes, he becomes a warrior. He physically blocks anyone else from paying. There are legendary stories of him snatching credit cards out of his friends, hands in handing the waiter his own black card with a wink. I've got this. Just enjoy. That phrase alone has cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. But it goes deeper. Jimin is known to be the member who takes care of the staff behind the staff. If he is out with his backup dancers or the hair and makeup team, the $50,000 bill is often because he has ordered to-go gifts for their families. Or he's ordered the most expensive restorative herbal tonics and a beef for everyone to eat after the drinking is done. He feeds people. He nurtures them. He uses his wealth to say, I appreciate you, because words sometimes aren't enough. The sheer volume of his generosity is what pushes him to number 2. It's not reckless, it's relentless. He wants the night to never end. Because in those moments, surrounded by his people, laughing over a $10,000 bottle of cognac, he isn't the global superstar under pressure. He is he is buying time, he is buying laughter, and he is buying a barrier against the loneliness of fame. The staff at these lounges say that cleaning up Jimin's table feels like cleaning up after a royal banquet. Respectful, with a tip left on the table that makes them cry. Tears of joy. He combines the elegance of a contemporary dancer with the bank account of a CEO. He is the prince who ensures that in his kingdom, no one goes hungry and no one goes thirsty. His spending is beautiful, it is artistic, and it is staggering, landing him firmly at the silver medal spot. But if the angel spends like this, who in the world could possibly be number 1? Who is the wild card that outspends the prince? Number 1! Jungkook, the Golden McNay's limitless rampage, the king of spontaneity, a black card without breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, hold your breath, steady your hearts, and prepare for the absolute apex, the zenith, the crown jewel of our countdown. We have traversed through the curators, the providers, the producers, the sunshines, the socialites, and the princes, but number 1 belongs to a different species entirely. We are talking about the Golden McNay, the boy who grew up in the spotlight, the man who defied gravity at the World Cup, and the absolute wildest, most unpredictable spender in the entire K-pop industry. Jungkook. Why does the youngest member take the top spot? Why is he the one who can rack up a $50,000 bill in a Gangnam lounge faster than you can say butter? Because unlike the others who plan, curate, or orchestrate, Jungkook operates on pure, unadulterated instinct, and his instinct is expensive. We are talking about the Generation Z, billionaire energy. A force of nature that combines the playful innocence of a child with the bank account of a mogul. Picture the scene. It is the dead of night in the streets are empty. But inside the most VVIP private lounge place usually reserved for chaebol heirs, there is a seismic event happening. Jungkook bursts in. He isn't wearing a 3-piece suit. He's likely in an oversized Balenciaga hoodie, baggy jeans, his piercings glinting under the strobe lights, and his tattoos fully on display. He looks like the coolest kid on the block, but the card in his pocket is the legendary Hyundai, the Black Edition 3, an invitation-only piece of plastic that signals infinite power. The reason Jungkook hits the $50,000 mark and often shatters it is because of his all-in personality. He does nothing halfway. If he likes a song, he dances until he collapses. If he loves a drink, he doesn't order a glass. He orders the inventory. Witnesses from the high-end service industry describe a night with Jungkook as a hurricane of generosity. He is famous for his insatiable appetite, both for food and for fun. While the other members might sip wine, Jungkook is the type to turn a posh lounge into his personal high-end buffet. We're talking about ordering the entire premium menu. Towers of a 5 Wagyu katsu sandwiches. Bowls of truffle-infused ramen that cost $200 each. And endless rounds of high-end tequila like Don Julio 1942 or Clay's Azul. Ultra. He eats with gusto. Eyes sparkling, often feeding the staff or offering bites to the managers. But the spending goes wild when the mood strikes him. Jungkook is the vibe king. If he feels the music is too quiet, he might pay to rent the venues, top-tier karaoke system, or even pay the DJ to step aside so he can connect his phone and play unreleased tracks or sing for 2 hours straight. Imagine this. You are a waiter in Gangnam, and suddenly you're attending a private Jungkook concert worth millions in ticket sales, but he's paying you to be there. The edutainment analysis here is fascinating. This is the psychology of the beloved youngest. 4 years, Jungkook was the baby. He had no money. He used his Hyung's credit cards to buy snacks. He was raised by 6 older brothers who paid for his meals, his clothes, and his tuition. Now that he is a global superstar with his own massive fortune, there is a deep, subconscious drive to pay it back tenfold. When he is out with the members or his friends like the 97 Liners, Jungkook becomes a warrior for the bill. It is a physical struggle. He will wrestle the check away. He will prepay the manager before the night even starts, just to ensure no one else can spend a dime. He wants to be the provider. Now, he wants to show his Hyungs. Look, I grew up. I can take care of you. That emotion drives the bill up to astronomical heights. He isn't calculating the cost. He is measuring the love. And let's talk about the Golden Bell. There are rumors, urban legends in Seoul that on particularly happy nights, perhaps after a successful release or a birthday, Jungkook has rung the Golden Bell in a lounge. For those who don't know, this means paying for every single table in the venue. Total strangers, random businessmen. Other celebrities, everyone's tab is cleared by the guy in the bucket hat in the corner. That is a $50,000 move in one swipe. It is reckless. It is chaotic, and it is undeniably he spends without fear because he trusts in his ability to earn it back. He treats money not as a hoard, but as fuel for the moment. Furthermore, his tipping culture is legendary in a way that is distinctly Gen Z. He doesn't just leave cash, he connects. He asks the staff about their night. He bows 90 degrees lower than anyone else, and he leaves tips that are shocking in their magnitude, often accompanied by a shy smile and a please get home safely. He breaks the class barrier. In a lounge filled with stiff, arrogant elites, Jungkook is the breath of fresh air who sits on the floor, plays with the resident dog, reminding him of his own Bam, and laughs with his whole body. He buys the most expensive champagne, shakes it up, and sprays it like he's winning the Grand Prix, not caring about the cost, only caring about the joy. He is the definition of young, rich, and free. The $50,000 receipt is just a byproduct of his intensity. He lives life at 100%, and he spends at 100%. He is the unpredictable storm. The boy who conquered the world and now buys it dinner. He proves that the ultimate luxury isn't owning things. It's the freedom to be absolutely, wildly yourself, and to share that abundance with everyone you touch. For his boundless energy, his heart of gold, and his terrifying ability to clear a bank vault in a single night of passionate fun. Jungkook is the undisputed, wild, and glorious #1 on our list of Gangnam's biggest spenders. And that, my friends, is how the kings of K-pop rule the night.